Underneath that, there's no oxygen, no life. And down there we found conchs and conch shells and hermit crabs that had fallen into the hole and suffocated.
These experts just dove into the Great Blue Hole, hoping to make some new discoveries, and what they found left the whole world speechless. In December 2018, a team descended to the depths of the largest underwater sinkhole in the world using 2 highly advanced submarines. Equipped with advanced tech and a live feed system broadcasting the whole journey, they were able to create the most detailed map of the Great Blue Hole to date, and what it showed was mind-boggling. Turns out this massive sinkhole has been hiding secrets about the Earth's past, secrets that may have been better left unexplored.
In the winter of 2018, a submarine crew ventured to the bottom of the hole in order to create a 3D map of the sinkhole.
The real shock came when the submarine descended deeper into the depths. The sonar revealed something at the very bottom that has the whole scientific community shocked to their cores.
And that's something that's very, very rare. It's an invaluable tool to do science for lengthy periods of time.
What kind of discovery can startle the most experienced divers in the world? Let's find out. A mysterious abyss. The Great Blue Hole, located near the coast of Belize, is considered one of the strangest places on Earth. There is just something about it that doesn't sit right. The sudden drop in depth, the precise circular shape, and the border of islands surrounding it all look way too perfect. Like something made deliberately, more like a designed object. It gives off an eerie vibe. There is no denying that this place is beautiful. As a matter of fact, it is considered one of the most beautiful spots for scuba diving in the entire world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. What an exciting, this is it. The Great Blue Hole.
But there is one thing many people misunderstand. That sudden, deep, dark blue color is not a sign of safety. It's a warning. It means that the water here is far deeper than the surroundings. Just how deep? A staggering 407 feet. In terms of width, the hole has a diameter of 1,043 feet. This thing is massive and equally dangerous. Just one look is enough to amaze anyone. But at the same time, a question comes to mind. Why? Why does this massive cavity exist in the middle of the ocean? And why is it so perfectly round?
And overall, we're just doing a lot of observation work to see really what happens in the blue hole. So we're going to have a really good idea of what goes on in and around the blue hole over that time.
The answer lies in a rock called karst limestone. This type of limestone is found in large formations within the earth, forming caves that extend deep into the ground. Millions of years ago, the water levels were not as high as they are now, and during that time, the area now known as the Great Blue Hole was not submerged in the ocean. Rather, it was on dry land, and on this piece of land was a karst limestone cave system that extended deep underground. As time went by, the water levels began to rise by hundreds of feet, until eventually, it covered the whole region. The caves were flooded. The water exerted a lot of pressure on the surface. While the cave system was extensive beyond imagination, it wasn't too strong structurally. Unable to bear that pressure, the entire thing collapsed. What's left behind is this massive hole. Erosion took its course, and the Great Blue Hole was formed as it exists today. A natural wonder created over millions of years. A masterpiece of nature. But here is the thing. When humans come across natural wonders, they want to explore them. The same is true for this place. It didn't take long for adventure seekers to come looking for trouble. The first person who tried to chart the depths of this natural wonder was Jacques Cousteau in 1971. An explorer and Navy man, he tried to be as thorough as it was possible back then. But the experts are no longer satisfied with relying on just those outdated observations. Scientists know that with the latest technology, they could find many more secrets down there. They could go deeper than anyone ever had and find things others had missed. And this idea gave birth to an expedition, a brave yet dangerous endeavor seeking to finally unveil the secrets of the Great Blue Hole. Little did they know they would come across a nightmare at the bottom. Preparation for a deadly journey. Scientists knew that the Great Blue Hole needed to be explored in depth. It had held on to its secrets for far too long. So in 2018, they decided to launch an expedition. The aim of the mission was going to be simple: descend to the depths, observe the surroundings, conduct scans, and come back up. But that was easier said than done. After all, the dive they were proposing would be extremely dangerous. So to ensure success, the core team of the mission had to be the best of the best. They recruited experienced scientists and filmmakers, people with years of diving experience under their belts. And to seal the deal, they brought on a legend, Fabien Cousteau, the grandson of the famous Jacques Cousteau, the same man who popularized the Great Blue Hole as one of the top diving spots in the world.
Having Jacques Cousteau as my grandfather was no big deal. I didn't realize that he was a world icon for decades before I came into existence.
But Fabien's selection was not just based on his ancestry. Rather, it was because of his experience. He is a veteran oceanographer, diver, and explorer. He has practically spent his life exploring the dangerous areas of the ocean. His greatest feat is spending 31 days living in an airtight laboratory at the bottom of the ocean.
Fabien Cousteau is gearing up for the end of his 31-day underwater living experiment.
He was the perfect choice for the expedition. Fabien brought his skills, experience, and knowledge to the team. They couldn't have found a better man for the job. Here is what's interesting. Fabien wasn't even the biggest celebrity on the team. An even bigger name had joined them, Richard Branson. Branson is a billionaire, an entrepreneur, and most importantly, an environmental advocate. He is famously known for his 30 by 30 initiative that focuses on cleaning up 30% of the oceans by 2030. Branson had a deep interest in one of the key goals of the entire expedition. You see, this team was not just working towards gaining a better understanding of the giant blue hole. Rather, they had another aim: to study how humans have affected the oceans in general by seeing our impact on the Great Blue Hole. They wanted to answer a burning question. Is this natural wonder being destroyed by human presence? Since Branson has been a long-standing advocate of environmental conservation, he wanted to find out the answer to that question firsthand. But there was still one problem. How could they get down there? 2 metallic beasts. The mission was going to be dangerous. Everyone knew that. There were ocean currents, atmospheric pressure, and many other variables to take into account. The expedition needed submarines that could handle all those variables without putting the lives of the team at risk. After careful consideration, the expedition team decided on 2 submarines, the Stingray 500 by Aquatica and Ida Bell from the Rotan Institute of Deep Sea Exploration. They didn't come cheap, but they were the perfect vehicles for the expedition. These submarines were ideally designed for handling the rough descent into the Great Blue Hole, their acrylic domes offering high visibility. For the team sitting inside, it would be like they are floating in the ocean on their own. They could observe everything and uncover secrets that other submarines wouldn't allow them to see.
And overall, we're just doing a lot of observation work to see really what happens in the blue hole. We capture a great deal of data just passively with our submarine with various sensors.
Plus, they could be equipped with the cutting-edge technology needed to accomplish the mission. A military-grade sonar system was installed in the subs, which allowed them to find their way even in complete darkness. They didn't need to rely on light. The entire system was provided by Kongsberg Mesoesh, and it was the perfect tool for mapping out the hole. Each ping would reveal precise details of the environment, allowing the experts to create a detailed map of the surroundings. The sound waves could even penetrate the slit in sand to reveal whatever is hidden underneath. By acquiring these submarines and the sonar system, the expedition's success was all but confirmed.
Exploration, the mystery of the blue hole is exactly that. I mean, everybody always asks, what are you going to find when you go down there?
They were ready to uncover the hidden secrets of the hole that had remained hidden since its creation. For the first time, humanity was poised to look deep within the abyss. But would they find what they were looking for? It was time to find out. After meticulous planning and preparations, it was finally time to take the plunge. The expedition members probably had no idea that they were about to make history. The tension was palpable. The core team went into the 2 submarines, ready for descent. Accompanying them were 2 yachts serving a crucial purpose.
We have the opportunity to come here and do that. And we're going to go to the blue hole with 2 submarines, ours and a partner company.
They were going to act as command centers and scanning vessels. Unlike any previous dive, this expedition was set to reach the very bottom of the Great Blue Hole. At the same time, they were going to do something unprecedented. The whole thing was going to be broadcast live. This was not going to be a small feat. To broadcast video footage from such great depths in a mostly remote region of the world and to bring it to a live audience would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. But with unmatched coordination, advanced tech, and a dedication like no other, they pulled it off. It was a monumental achievement that served a crucial purpose. Now, the world could share in on the experience.
To the blue hole and see how we can use the submarines to good effect, not just for looking around, but also to do some science.
They could be a part of something bigger. Naturally, millions tuned in, sharing the experience with the divers. Excitement, anticipation, and fear all mixed in. With the final checks completed, the submarines began their descent. Everyone on board knew the danger had just begun. A dangerous descent. As the submarines descended beneath the water, the expedition team came face to face with the astounding beauty of the Great Blue Hole. It's a world thriving with life, with corals bordering the hole as if protecting it. The area inhabited by reef sharks, turtles, and giant groupers had a serenity to it.
Reef sharks, turtles, and giant corals. But as they pushed 90 meters, life started to vanish.
All of it illuminated by the sunshine dancing through the waves. It was as beautiful as Jacques Cousteau once claimed it to be. But as the submarines descended further, the team witnessed a scenery that most divers never get to see. The light faded, the coral was replaced by rocky walls, and the marine life that was abundant near the top began thinning out. It was a transition from the beautiful to the dangerous. The further they went down, the starker the difference became. The bright blue waters became much darker. It was harder to see until eventually the submarines had to turn on their lights to be able to navigate. And just like that, the real mission began. The sonar system was activated, and the team began meticulously charting their surroundings. They didn't have to wait too long for their first find. During the exploration, the submarines came close to the rocks bordering the hole, and what they saw was extremely strange. They saw stalactites hanging from the ceilings of underwater caves, but instead of being completely vertical, they were tilted. Here is why that was so strange. You see, these stalactites were formed back when the karst limestone caves that existed here were still on dry land. The mineral-rich water would seep through the caves and form the stalactites.
Stalactites can only form because water is dripping down stone, and so we know that this was a big dry cave.
But since this phenomenon is a result of gravity, the stalactites found everywhere in the world are always perfectly vertical. They are never titled, like here in the Great Blue Hole. How is this possible? The experts were perplexed, but they had a theory why this had happened. According to them, these stalactites initially formed the correct way, vertical to the ceiling. But as we know, the Earth is made up of several giant landmasses. Experts theorize that at some point in the past, the plateau on which the Great Blue Hole resides began to tilt slightly. One end rose and another sank into the Earth. This tilt caused the entire plane to change orientation, resulting in the stalactites in the Great Blue Hole tilting as well at an angle of 5 degrees. A subtle reminder of how the planet we call home is ever-changing and ever-shifting. The movement of Earth was here recorded in stone. Another thing to remember is that these stalactites were formed in different eras.
With our special guests, Sir Richard Branson and Fabien Cousteau, on Sunday, December 2nd.
They were formed in 4 stages: 153,000, 66,000, 60,000, and 15,000 years ago. From the samples recovered, we can check for the oxygen molecules stored within these stalactites. These molecules have a lot to tell about the environment of our planet. They are letters from the past, showing how the Earth's atmosphere changed and how it affected the water levels and life on Earth. More than that, they are a warning against climate change, telling us how dangerous the consequences can be if we are not careful. The expedition team carefully recorded their findings, but they couldn't linger here for too long. There were more discoveries to be made at the deeper depths, and so the descent began once again. Traveling through time. As the submarines kept descending, the team could see a wall of rocks extending far above and below on all sides. Soon, even the little light reaching down from the surface went out completely. Everywhere they looked was complete darkness. And then, they reached the most terrifying part of the descent, a layer separating the waters of the Great Blue Hole. It was like a boundary between the abyss and the life-filled ocean above. This border was not made of bricks or rocks. Rather, it was made of something far more deadly. You see, there is a reason why all living beings avoid going to the bottom of the Great Blue Hole. No fish dares stray anywhere close to the 300-foot mark. That's because at that depth, the water consistency of the hole changes drastically. The water there is mixed with hydrogen sulfide, which kills off everything. Nothing can survive it. What lay ahead was an anoxic pool devoid of oxygen. But despite the danger, the team knew they had to accomplish their mission in the name of science. Without hesitation, they dove through that boundary, entering a world of toxicity and lifelessness. At the same time, the sonar was mapping out the surroundings that had never been charted in such detail before.
The first is with a sonar partner, we're going to be building a 3D map of the Blue Hole.
The team was making history with every second. There was also something else on their mind. While the toxic layer they were penetrating was deadly, it also served as a safeguard. Because of its unique composition, this part of the hole had remained untouched since its creation. Whatever the expedition would find next would be a remnant of the past, a mystery held throughout time. They were traveling hundreds of thousands of years into the past, and who knows what they would find next. With only 100 feet left to reach the seabed, it didn't take long for the submarines to arrive at the lowest point of the target blue hole. And when they did reach their destination, what lay in front of them was a scene of death and decay. A graveyard of shells. As I mentioned earlier, the water below the 300-foot mark in the Great Blue Hole is anoxic. While that means no creature lives down there, it also means anything that accidentally falls in also dies in seconds. So when the expedition crew saw the seabed at the bottom of the Great Blue Hole littered with corpses of marine life and conch shells, they knew what had happened. These creatures had fallen down to the depths by accident when they got too close to the edge and met their end soon after. The conch shells were everywhere, as far as the eye could see. Not just that, but there was another interesting phenomenon at play here. Since the anoxic environment meant there was no oxygen down at this depth, these dead fish and crabs were not going to decay at all. There were no bacteria or other critters to clear away the bodies. They would remain here perfectly preserved for who knows how long. A graveyard frozen in time. And when the team looked at the sonar, the situation became even more morbid. Turns out, these creatures had tried to get back up. The sonar in its extreme precision showed crawl marks near the rocks. Some of the unfortunate creatures had tried to crawl up the walls before, asphyxiating and sliding back down to their rest. While this was nature taking its course, the experts soon came across several unnatural, devastating signs. Right next to the conchies were plastic bottles. Even the depths of one of the most beautiful places on the planet were not safe from plastic pollution. A stark reminder of how single-use plastics are destroying the marine ecosystems around the globe. While Belize has done a great job of preventing such pollution in the area, these plastics probably washed in by drifting through the ocean, or some careless diver ignored the rules and threw those in. Whatever the case, their presence was a sobering reminder of their impact on our environment. As the expedition team scoured the bottom of the hole, they kept coming across more conch shells and plastic bottles, and then suddenly, the sonar picked up something else.
I don't know if they were plastic or metal, but they definitely had sharp edges, and one of them had what looked like a letter on it, printed.
It was larger than a conch shell and had a very familiar shape to it. As the team approached the mystery object, they were shocked to see what it really was. It was a human body, in full diving gear, perfectly preserved in the oxygen-free environment. And they didn't just find one. They came across two bodies in the same condition. It was an unexpected find and surely a terrifying encounter for everyone aboard the submarines. Turned out, these were two of the 3 total reported drivers that met their end while exploring the Great Blue Hole. Their remains were frozen in time, as if statues of the past. The expedition members were very respectful towards the remains.
Just stuck on the rock.
Yeah, but he's wedged in there, though.
You can see bones. I mean, this has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
They made detailed observations but didn't disturb the bodies in any way. While some proposed retrieving the bodies for their loved ones, the team ultimately decided to leave them where they were out of respect. However, they did inform the authorities so all future expeditions could be made aware. After all, being caught by surprise with an encounter like that could be deadly. By this point, the expedition members believed they had seen the worst of it. But another discovery was just waiting to be uncovered, and what it implicated would be far more terrifying than the human remains. Is something alive? During the whole descent phase and the time at the seabed, the sonar on the submarines was constantly at work, mapping out their surroundings in astounding detail. No nook or cranny was hidden from its eyes. And now, when the scientists were checking the results of the scan, they saw a strange pattern. The sonar scan clearly showed trail marks crisscrossing across the ocean bed of the hole in a crisscross pattern. And these marks made it clear that something had been moving down there, creating this trail, something large. The experts couldn't believe their eyes. After all, nothing should be able to survive down here. The water down at this depth is toxic, devoid of oxygen, and deadly to any known creature.
The culprit was a thick layer of toxic hydrogen sulfide, spanning the width of the entire sinkhole.
So how could something live down here? The experts had no answer. They searched the seabed thoroughly, doing patrols of the entire surface. But in the end, they found nothing. There were only 2 possibilities. Either the experts had missed the creature that was making these trail marks, or whatever this creature was, it was an expert at hiding. By now, the experts were running out of time. They couldn't wait and explore any longer. The submarines were brought to the surface, but the mystery of those track marks still lingered in the air. The team had accomplished something great, but the mission was not over just yet. The submarines were returned, but the yachts remained. They continued constructing the sonar map of the Great Blue Hole for 2 more days, after which the expedition was at last over. While the tracks were never explained, the legacy of the other findings from the expedition was revolutionary. A legacy like no other. The 2018 expedition made landmark progress in oceanography that cannot be understated. They created the first complete 3-dimensional map of the Great Blue Hole, which is bound to be the groundwork for many other studies and findings in the future.
Wadaka submarines started their descent to the bottom of the Blue Hole. Their mission was to create a 3D map of the sinkholes.
It gives a complete picture of how the Great Blue Hole was created and what phases the Earth went through during the last millions of years. The importance of this achievement cannot be understated. Since the Great Blue Hole is surrounded by the second-largest coral reef system in the world, this map will be monumental in helping study and preserve the reef and the marine life that calls it home. And then there are the other findings from the expedition, like the plastic bottles and the stalactites, which are also super important since they relate directly to pollution and climate change. They showed the global crisis we are facing and the consequences of not halting our impact on the oceans in the near future. Richard Branson was especially moved by what he saw, and right after the expedition, he sat down in a meeting with the Prime Minister of Belize. They talked about conservation methods, the importance of preventing pollution, and what Belize can do to help further the cause. Branson put forth a 2-pronged solution to the issue at hand. He proposed that Belize extend the legal protection of its territorial waters over a larger area and place a ban on the use of gill nets, which are responsible for killing marine life without discrimination. Branson also talked about his 30 by 30 initiative with the Prime Minister, who responded very positively to his propositions. All of it was made possible thanks to the passion and bravery of the expedition team by bringing a spotlight to the issue and helping the world see the reality we all face. They braved a journey to one of the most dangerous places on Earth for science and nature. Through their efforts, they were not only able to get the world further interested in the exploration of the uncharted parts of the ocean, but also helped bring the bigger issues we face today into public view. This was a huge win for the scientific community and for the environmental preservation movement. But do you think it is enough to get the world interested? And what about the biggest mystery of the entire expedition? The trail marks left by the unknown creature. What could be the explanation for that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to read them all. And while you are at it, be sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, goodbye and stay curious.